Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a model launched in 2021 from Omega. This is the Speedmaster Chronoscope in bronze gold. The Chronoscope might be my favorite new Omega of the last decade. A handsome 1940s inspired triple scale chronograph, twin register, no date, manual wind, and this one's in 9-carat hallmarked bronze gold. So let's talk about the dimensions. It's a large Speedmaster, 43 in diameter. I measure it 13.1 millimeters thick. It's thinner than most coaxial Omegas due to the manual wind movement. It's 48.6 millimeters from lug to lug, and I measure 21 millimeters the spacing between the lug horns. The Speedmaster Chronoscope is a large watch, but not too large. As you can see, since it's not on a bracelet, the lugs don't protrude beyond the end of my wrist. And I believe if your wrist is my size or larger, this is going to look just fine. A really handsome piece. And the metal does have significantly more weight to it than, for example, the steel version of the Chronoscope, though we're going to investigate what's actually in this 37.5% gold in just a moment. Here's your down the barrel shot. Here's your cuff shot. If it does get hung up on a cuff, it's going to be not so much because of its thickness, but because of the shape of that bezel, which has a bit of a cantilever to it. The strap's a lovely piece, like the watch, vintage inspired. You've got sort of a minimally tanned, medium brown calfskin, a contrasting binding stitch, thick cut, and then lacquered on the side. Calfskin on the bottom. You can see brand new Omega factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. We have bronze gold for the buckle as well as the case. And you can see here, we've got a combination of satin finish, media blast, and polish on this relatively simple but thoughtfully decorated piece. Lyre style lugs with the inward bevel and the outward bevel. You can see them both, the outward bevel with a polish that runs end to end on both sides. And it's got a Speedmaster professional style case with shear guards for the crown and the pushers. You can see there's a combination of satin and polish. The underside of the bezel is all polished. The top of the bezel is brown ceramic. And then it uses what Omega describes as vintage enamel. So the cold enamel that's used to fill the ceramic scale to create the tachymetric scale. So you have a ceramic base, and then this vintage enamel, as they call it, is inlaid, which is fascinating because I would say this is fauxtina, but I'm not used to talking about fauxtina on a watch that's not loomed in any capacity. But this sort of is fauxtina in cold enamel form. It's designed to look aged, but it's also a beautiful complementary color to match the brown of the dial, the bezel itself, and the bronze gold case. Now, it is made of copper. It is made of 37.5% gold. It is made of silver, and it is made of palladium. And these are the primary elements in bronze gold. To be bronze, it's got to have copper. To be gold, it's got to have gold. And the secondaries are things like palladium, which helps to prevent oxidation, and then silver, which helps to keep it noble and also changes the tone of it a little bit. Because it does feature bronze, there's always the concern about patination and the possible dyeing of a wrist. And Omega specifically included the elements like palladium to prevent verdigris, which is the transformation of bronze into a sort of gray-green corrosive outer layer, or corroded outer layer that can dye your wrist blue. So there's no verdigris here, so there will be no dyeing of the wrist blue. Although it may patina a little bit, it's not going to get out of control the way, say, a Panerai Bronzo can. Now, taking a look, we've got a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire that's designed to look like a vintage plexi. Make no mistake, it is a sapphire. The dial features a couple of vertically arrayed applique rose gold colored numerals, matching rose gold leaf style hands with a counterweighted lancet style chronograph second sand at center. We have sub-registers that are slightly countersunk, and you can see they have an azurage or concentric pattern internally, each with a little leaf hand on the right and a lancet counterweighted second sand on the left. Taking a look underneath the hours, you can see that there's an azurage or concentric pattern there too, like the grooves of a record. And then we have the inner scales. This has more scales than a reptile. We've got the tachymetric scale outboard for gauging speed. Then you can see we've got the telemeter scale. The telemetric scale is used to gauge distance, for example, artillery spotting. And then inboard, you've got a 30 pulsation scale, which is designed to work with the chronograph as follows. You start taking the pulse of your patient, start the chronograph, and you count to 30 pulses. not seconds. So when you reach 30 pulses counted, that's when you stop the chronograph. So for example, if you were to stop the chronograph right there, that's when you count 30 pulses. You look and that's 110 beats per minute. That's how the pulsation scale works. Taking a quick look, you can see that we have a nice crisp actuation due to a vertical clutch. There's no jump, stagger, or extraneous motion in this chronograph seconds hand, so it moves seamlessly as there is no play in a vertical clutch. If you like to leave your chrono running, you can do that too, because a vertical clutch doesn't create any additional wear and tear. Now you can pull the crown out all the way, it activates hacking or stop seconds, but there's also an intermediate position where you can move the hour hand. This doesn't interrupt any other part of the timekeeping, including the chronograph. It's very useful if you're a traveler. The watch is 50 meters, water resistant. The push-down crown, I would not recommend swimming with that, but it'll be robust against splashes and rain. The movement, caliber 9908, is essentially a bald 9900 without the automatic winding system. It is thinner. 44 joules. It is a column wheel vertical clutch, and you can see the sort of flattened column wheel that Omega uses here. Has a nice crisp actuation that you would expect from a column wheel. 2 barrels, manual wind, 60-hour power reserve. The standard version of the 8900 tri-level coaxial has a beat rate that is quirky, 25,200 vibrations per hour. But the chronograph versions, the 9300s and the 9900s, they actually have 8 beats per second, so it's a more intuitive dial scale where you can read eighths of a second on the chronograph seconds hand. The twin barrels help to create a very flat torque plateau, so from max wind to minimum wind over that 60-hour power reserve, you're going to have very constant force to the escapement. You've got a full balance bridge and a free-sprung balance for shock resistance, and we have a tri-level coaxial escapement, which substitutes tangential friction for the sliding friction, like the draw on the run to banking of a standard Swiss lever. Tangential is less. It helps to improve power reserve, reduces maintenance requirements, and improves chronometry. We've got an anti-magnetic balance staff, balance, hairspring and silicon, and escapement. And this is a master chronometer, so it meets all the COSC standards, but it's then tested to run no worse than -0 + 5 seconds, better than a chronometer, as a fully assembled and cased up watch. Power reserve, durability, water resistance, also tested in the master chronometer certification. And finally, it's tested for anti-magnetism to over 15,000 Gauss. That's not a maximum, that's a minimum, over 1.5 Tesla. Deeply impressive stuff. And of course, the tri-level coaxial, the latest thinking in the system, originally developed by watchmaker George Daniels and industrialized by Omega with his blessing and license. This is probably still the most exotic escapement you can buy for under $50,000 in a unique proposition that looks like rose gold but should wear like bronze. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.